In a world where global trade tensions are simmering and countries are vying for economic supremacy, the return of Donald Trump to the White House brings familiar names back into the spotlight. One of the most notable figures is Robert Lighthizer, the architect of the US-China trade war and a staunch advocate for reshaping America's economic future. Welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into the return of Robert Lighthizer as the likely US trade representative under President-elect Donald Trump. With his hardline stance on tariffs, protectionist policies, and a firm belief in strategic decoupling from China, Lighthizer's reappointment could mean a significant shakeup in global trade dynamics. Let's unpack who he is, what he stands for, and what his comeback could mean for the American economy and our international relations. Let's start with a bit of background. Robert Lighthizer isn't just another trade expert. He served as US trade representative during Trump's first term and was one of the key architects of the US-China trade war. He pushed a tariff-focused approach that aimed to shield American industries from what he and Trump saw as unfair foreign competition. Lighthizer didn't stop at China. He led the renegotiation of NAFTA, turning it into the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, or USMCA. This deal aimed to create a fairer playing field for American workers and industries, especially manufacturing and agriculture. Lighthizer is known for his strong stance on tariffs and his belief in strategic decoupling from China. In fact, he recently published a book titled where he argues that the US should take even stronger steps to end its trade reliance on China. He believes that tariffs are more than just an economic tool. They're a means to protect American jobs, secure supply chains, and push back against unfair practices by foreign governments, especially China. According to the US government, the trade deficit with China was around $279 billion last year. While that's down from the $343 billion we saw in 2019, Lighthizer believes that more aggressive policies are needed to reduce this deficit further. In his view, imposing additional tariffs and possibly ending China's normal trade status could help bring down the deficit and support American industries. While Lighthizer may be Trump's top pick for trade representative, not all of his ideas align smoothly with the rest of Trump's economic team. For instance, he has often advocated for a weaker dollar, arguing that it would help boost American exports and manufacturing. This approach could support his trade goals, but it contrasts with other Trump policies, like corporate tax cuts, which typically have the effect of strengthening the dollar. Balancing these conflicting goals could pose a challenge. For instance, if the dollar strengthens due to tax cuts, it might make American products more expensive abroad, counteracting Lighthizer's aims to increase exports. It's a complex balancing act that highlights the potential for internal friction within the administration's economic policy team. One of the more controversial aspects of Lighthizer's legacy is his firm stance on tariffs. While some economists argue that tariffs hurt American consumers and raise prices, Lighthizer has a different view. He recently criticized an editorial that challenged his policies, saying that it relied on selective data to support what he called fanciful views on US economic history. During this great period of economic growth, when America created the largest economy in the world from the end of the Civil War until 1900, the average tariffs in this country were almost always above 40% on dutiable goods, Lighthizer said. Lighthizer sees tariffs as a historically successful tool. He points to America's economic rise in the late 19th century, when high tariffs were common, as evidence that they can drive growth and support domestic industries. However, his perspective remains hotly debated among economists. If Lighthizer does take on the role of trade representative again, we can expect an aggressive approach toward China and a revival of protectionist policies. But this time, the stakes are even higher. The global economy has evolved significantly since Trump's first term, and trade relationships have become more complex. Countries worldwide are watching to see if America's trade stance under Trump and Lighthizer will isolate the US or alternatively strengthen its position. Lighthizer's return might boost certain industries like manufacturing and agriculture, but it could also bring higher prices for consumers due to increased tariffs on imported goods. There are tough questions ahead. Will the benefits of these policies reach the American workforce? How will our allies react to another round of tariffs? And most importantly, how will China respond to a renewed push for economic decoupling? In the end, Robert Lighthizer possible return as trade representative signals that Trump's next term could be a continuation and intensification of the tough on China, America First policies. The implications for the American economy and our global relationships are vast, from potential benefits to major challenges. We'll be closely following every development as Trump's administration begins to take shape. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think tariffs and decoupling are the right path for America's economy? Or will these policies lead to more harm than good? Let us know what you think and stay tuned for more in-depth coverage of US and global policy changes.